Okay, and we are live. Well, recording. Hello and herzlich willkommen back to the TimTom podcast. I am your host, the main host, the best host, Tim. Joining me is my accomplice, Tom, as well.
What? I'm a host, motherfucker.
So it's 2019, baby, and we're gonna
First official episode of the year.
I reckon we're gonna start off strong, and it's gonna be probably downhill from there, just into like a reciprocal graph, but then it's gonna hit the bottom. Anyway, so because there really weren't any albums that came out recently, we had a ton of singles to choose from, which we have chosen from, and we will be reviewing. We've opted no. The host, Tom, came up with the great idea of doing some more classic reviews. And so this is the first proper classic review episode.
But we are also going to get to the singles that have come out over the last month while we've been doing
holidaying
and year reviews.
Yep. Because we were pretty busy with those. Okay, so I don't know what Tom's reviewing. Tom knows what I'm reviewing, and Tom, would you care to tell me what you're going to be reviewing?
Yes, I think this is going to be interesting because I've not heard your album, and I don't believe you've heard my one.
Okay.
And I'm going to be talking about the Clips' second album, Hell Hath No Fury.
No, I have not heard that.
So it's the second album from the hip-hop duo and brothers, No Malice and Pusha T.
Oh, right. Bloody hell.
And it is solely produced by the Neptunes.
Who are they?
Pharrell and Chad Hugo.
Oh, right.
Production duo.
It
came out in 2006, and that will make sense why I've brought that up in a little while, I think.
You said it had to be over 9 years old. Yeah, 2006 is over 9 years old. That's scary.
So we kicked off with the lovely We Got It For Cheap, the intro, which is a little set, a little pace setter, really. Four great verses, and this Hispanic guy that keeps on coming in and talking about drug dealing for a little bit before the verses come in. And this is the classic Clips setup, really. You have the verse from one of the guys, then the hook, then the verse from the other guy, then the hook again, and then they go back to back on the final verse.
Okay. That's not bad.
And this has had some lovely keys and drums on this. Again, I think the production will be praised quite regularly on this when I talk about this album. Moving on to the second track, Mama, I'm So Sorry. Amazing instrumental again. And just some lovely verses, especially from Malice on this one, who I've got to say hasn't had a great career outside the Clips, but he holds his own here.
Yeah.
With a great line, got the crackers like kids that can't wait to lick the bowl. So excited for the drugs.
God damn.
Into Mr. Me Too, which is a big song for the Clips. It had this again amazing beat. It had a great Pharrell feature as well, with them rapping about this guy that says that he's got what they've got, but probably doesn't. And the hook's really good as well. It's from Pusha T. Womp Womp, another great track. Just something. This beat is absolutely insane. The drum patterns and the steel drums on top of those as well. Just crazy. Yeah, so it's got these really heavy, constant drums, and then it's got these steel drums as well as the bass. So there's a lot going on here.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, this is the Neptunes, for God's sake. These some of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
And it's got a decent Slim Thug feature, but really Pusha T is the man that steals the show on most of these songs. Riding Around Shining, probably the same thing, although Roscoe P has a good feature. And it's got a crazy vocal sample that just randomly comes in, and I think it might actually be a sample of Pharrell's vocals himself that just seem to come in randomly and go, brah, brah, and then just go again. It's just, some of the ideas here are really quite wild.
Yeah.
Especially instrumentally. I think lyrically, you can if you've heard a Pusha T song, you do know what you're going to get here.
Yeah.
But at the time, this was quite different, because this was in the height of the bling era, where everyone was just talking about their cars and their fashion. It was when 50 Cent was really big.
Yeah.
And Dipset. And everyone had sort of given up on Nas by now.
Yeah.
And people cared more about Kanye. But having said all that, the next track, Dirty Money, was just a crappy bling era song. And this is a 12-track album. There are 2, also Trill, I'd put in the same bracket as just being skippable filler. But the rest of this album is very forward-thinking. Hello New World's a bit more different, but that's sort of showing out the new rappers that are coming up. And then Keys Open Doors is a funny song, because obviously there's a little joke there. Keys opening doors, also the kilos opening doors in a more metaphorical sense. And again, Pusha T is an amazing verse on this song that kicks the whole thing off. But Ain't Ya, that is a highlight. Because the beat is so insane again, there's so much going on. It's got quite a lazy refrain hook, but the 2 guys, Push and Malice, again, amazing verses and some quite crazy features from the Re-Up Gang as well. Trill, I already said, pretty trashy bling rap. But then we get into Chinese New Year, which has this crazy synth, sort of almost squirting.
Squirting?
Yeah, they're like synths sort of going... They're just mad again. There's some of the musical ideas here are just crazy. And the hook is very good. It goes, well, in one bit it says, if you haven't got the money, we'll make the front of your house look like Chinese New Year. And then Pharrell comes in and just goes, brah, brah, making all these gun sounds. A bit like Kanye does on the opening track to Kids See Ghosts, but perhaps even more crazy. And obviously talking about racketeering, and it's got another good Roscoe P verse. But I think this is probably the most mobster they get. Obviously, the song's about racketeering, so I mean, what do you expect? But yeah, again, another very progressive song. And then we got quite a tone changer for the final track, Nightmares. It's mainly dominated by the feature Bilal, who, if you don't know, is a lovely soul singer. He was on Pimp a Butterfly quite a bit.
Right.
And he handles most of it. And this is a song all about paranoia. And it has 2 great verses and a little sung refrain from Pharrell before Pusha T closes it out with a quite obvious reference to the Ghetto Boys' Minds Playing Tricks on You, with the way he starts it off, which was again a song about paranoia. So I mean, this album for me is maybe the best to come out of the bling era. Maybe only some of Kanye and Cameron's records being better. It's
how was it received when it came out?
Well, because it was so different to everything else. Because all the other beats were quite basic, and then you had like Pharrell's and Chad Hugo's production on here, which was very crazy. And I think only with time and with Pusha T sort of getting bigger and being on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and stuff, have people gone back to listen to this stuff. So it's only really got better, but it was received well, because by this stage 50 Cent had got very cocky. I think this was when him and Khan. Actually, that might have been a bit later when he got to the full cockiness. But this is sort of when Soulja Boy was out there doing this thing.
Yeah.
Kanye was 2 or 3 albums deep. 50 Cent, same thing. Dipset, same thing. People like Jay-Z and Nas were being phased out a bit. And this was a very forward-thinking project, especially lyrically. I don't think anyone was really doing it on the same level as these guys at the time.
Yeah.
Just the wordplay, especially from Pusha T, is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you sold it to me, man. I'd never heard of this before. I didn't even know what Tom was reviewing before, just for reference. And I mean, in 8 minutes, you told me. I want to listen to it. Yeah, I'm very intrigued, especially considering. So it was more of an abstract piece then when it came out, and that's
because it's sort of stood alone, even with their previous stuff. I mean, I like Lord Willing as well. I think that's another good album. Again, the two guys and the Neptunes produced the whole thing, and it probably singles wise was better for them, but as a whole album, this was definitely the best they ever did together.
Yeah.
And I don't think until Daytona, Pusha T had really reached these heights again.
Right.
And again, that was just another focused album, because afterwards they released one more album, I think, and the Neptunes weren't involved with that, and obviously that impacted the quality. So I think as a foursome, they worked very well together, and they made a lot of good music. But this, for me, Bling Era classic, even though it wasn't really a Bling Era album, although there was definitely some influences from the time.
That's interesting then, how it stands alone in that era. Ahead of its time, you'd say?
I think it was maybe... It set a trend, really. So not long afterwards, people would start to do this more.
Yeah.
People like Missy Elliott, especially. And like the drug dealer raps are bigger than ever now, aren't they? But
yeah,
I guess lyrically, people like T.I. as well and Young Jeezy would then influence everyone else. But it was these guys did it first.
Damn. That is Hell Hath No Fury. Yeah.
Indeed. And also, if you care to look at the album artwork, they're sitting on an oven.
What?
So it's a bit of beauty all around. Very good, very, very good album. Sure, it's only... Well, if you leave out the 2 tracks that aren't worth listening to, it's 40 minutes long.
That's good length.
It's only 50 otherwise.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is that, well, the 2 very dated sounding Bling Era tracks, and some of the features are a bit weak. I think they could have been done without, but a very, very good project nevertheless, and just what really put Pusha T on the map.
Yeah.
And with that, I will hand the floor to you.
Oh. Now, okay. So we're going to be going back pretty far. 45 years far.
Damn.
Yeah, if I've done my maths right, should be 45 years.
A little further than 13.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. More than 3 times. Yeah, checking my math there. All right. Okay, enough maths. It's time for music.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be reviewing The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, the 2011 remaster, just for reference, in case there are any discrepancies between the other versions. Okay, so if it's not in the, if it's changed a bit, I don't know. Don't kill me. But so I'd seen like I'd seen the front cover a ton, and I didn't really get it before. As well, never listened to Pink Floyd. I've seen people.
Not even breaking the wall.
No, not really. Never willingly, and like probably only snippets. The only times I know I've heard Pink Floyd prior to this point were when two of the songs on this album, Breathe and Any Color You Like, were played on Radio 6 when I just happened to be downstairs when my dad was cooking. So I don't know why it's taken me this long to listen to this album. It's a classic. It really is a classic. Not that it isn't, but when it comes to like classic rock and music as a whole, it stands on its own as it's worthy of the length play, you know. Because one thing, just like some overall views before I go into the track by track, is the sequencing on this thing is perfect. The track to track, they all flow into one another seamlessly, and then the opener and closer are opposite sides of the same song. And it the only album I can think of which is similar in a way in that sort of respect, with the sequencing and coming back to central it's sort of what's the word, motifs musically, is Nonagon Infinity by King Gizzard. I understand King Gizzard have definitely been influenced by them a lot, but this is the OG psychedelic rock album, as far as I know, definitely. And okay, so in the opener, one thing that I thought was really interesting. The opener, by the way, is just this heartbeat, and along with the heartbeat, there come um, several samples, which are foreshadowed because they're brought in later into the album, such as sounds of a cashier and money changing hands, people talking, some like very emotive singing, um, which all comes in later in several songs. So I really like that foreshadowing there, and then and this heartbeat with it, uh, it increasing and increasing, and then this sort of this soundscape which is created eventually builds and builds and builds to then go into the first real song, Breathe in the Air, which is this psychedelic masterpiece, is what I'd say. It's got these lovely guitars and this really nice bass. The instrumentation on this album, Tom, it's flawless. Honestly, it's this really chilled out song. It's sunny. It's got these great harmonies from the vocals, and it's organs brought in, and it's just this really really chilled song, which then flows seamlessly. It's a nice break from the cacophony sort of, which is, oh no, the crescendo which is built up to in the first song, and then it goes into On the Run, which is this really starkly different track. It's this synth driven sort of futuristic frenetic little number. It's constantly, it feels like it's building towards something. There's the sounds of a train conductor or someone in a train station like talking over an intercom or something, which is, it's a bit out of left field, and it's just a very busy track. You can hear people running, and it's more avant-garde. I really feel like there's this entire album has the I don't know, I don't want to sound like pretentious, but like sort of existentialist ideas in it. I think it's the main point of it is going against like that 9 to 5, which is gonna like drive you into hell, and that's what I think On the Run is. And then it's followed up with Time, which there's like a break and then there's these several alarms go off at the same time, alarm clocks and other like fire alarms. They just really they wake you up. It's very piercing and cacophonous. And so there's like alarm clocks to wake you up for your 9 to 5 job, and then there's the heartbeat again, and one of the hours is wasting. Sorry, no. One of the lyrics is about wasting hours, and I mean, wasting time being the main theme of this song. I liked it, and so what happens is it then builds into another sort of crescendo where it comes back into Breathe, the first song, which was a thing that I remember happening a lot on Nonagon Infinity. They had this central motif, as I said, and they keep on returning to it just to have this sort of cyclical nature to the album. And I really liked it. But it goes into Breathe following a really, really powerful guitar solo, which is really cathartic to listen to. And so following this is the song "The Great Gig in the Sky." If anything, it's just like it's a good name for a song. You know, it's one of the best songs on it. It has this really nice sort of relaxed piano, and this guy is saying, "I'm not afraid of dying." This sample, I don't know who he is. I'm sure it has some other significance if I were to look further into it. But and the great gig in the sky is obviously it's an allusion to heaven, and there's this really emotive singer. She's really soulful, going over. She's just improvising over the whole thing for the whole track, pretty much. Is really really good. All the musicians are jamming behind her with this. They have the organ is great. There's this guitar, the drums, bass. It's this really full sound, and I say it's the most energetic, mainly because of the singer in the background. Everyone else is a bit more chilled out, and it's just followed up by Money, which opens up with the sounds of the cashier and change exchanging hands, which is like foreshadowed in the opener. And one thing that I thought was really cool is these sounds end up forming a beat of sorts. They hit on time. They establish a rhythm, and then they fade out as the bass comes in, and it's this really cracking bass line. Honestly, it's really really good. And once the drums come in, these fade out to then come back in again perfectly on time midway through the track. It's really really amazing. The guitar has this very bluesy feel to it, followed by this sort of blues organ. It's really really cool. And there's another breakdown further into it where it turns into this sort of bluesy psychedelic rock, and it's really cool. It's followed up by Us and Them, which is this more chilled out track. I think it's the longest track. It's like 7 minutes 49 seconds or something. It has this really nice saxophone in it, which is following along. It's doing its own thing. It's like a voice, another voice in there. It's really really cool. There's the piano, the chord progression. I thought was really nice. It builds to a tension and then promptly resolves it every time. It's like pleasing sonically, which is something I really appreciated. And it has this sort of anthemic chorus, and these great harmonies are there again. And it's followed by Any Color You Like, which was one of the songs that I heard on the radio, which really surprised when I heard it. It's the most psychedelic song on this by far, and it has this really, really, really nice keyboard, which just sort of cascades down like a waterfall. It's really cool. It's really atmospheric and playful as well. The bass and the drums complement it perfectly, and there's another really, really cool solo further into it. It's got this sort of distorted guitar in it. It's very 70s, and it reminded me a bit of again King Gizzard. They're just sort of ripping them off, to be honest. At least their early work. uh, heavily influenced. All right. And then there's this other distorted guitar in the background, which sort of gives it a bit more oomph and a bit more body. And then the keyboard comes back in towards the end, and essentially you have this this like wall of sound which is enveloping you, and it's very, very nice. And then it ends and goes back into breathe the third time. Again, with this cyclical nature to it, and it's brain damage is the follow up, which has it's the definitely the most one of the most chilled out ones. It's it has these really really sort of wacky synths in it, and this this nice sort of uh this nice guitar, which is it's 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 very laid back, and the lyrics are it's that the lunatic is on the rise or in the grass, something like that. And then there's reference to lunatics being in something. It very strange. And then there's Eclipse, which is the closer, and it follows flawlessly. Again, I cannot say enough about how good the sequencing on this album is. It's, yeah, every song goes into the other, and there is no way of telling uh, quite where a song ends and where it begins. It's not broken up. It's not jarring. It's so smooth and very, very pleasurable to listen to. It's designed to be played on vinyl. Is with everything just flowing cyclically into the next thing. And
so are you gonna get it?
Definitely, yeah. If I was gonna get anything on vinyl, I'd get this. Can't believe I haven't. I'm a bit ashamed. And so like one of the lyrics on this final track is like, I'll meet you on the dark side of the moon," which is very, very cool. And then it closes again with this heartbeat slowing down to a final stop. So I don't know. I think it's about someone dying, reflecting on their life, or taking a stand against that 9 to 5, and then getting freedom in heaven and dying. Something like that. There's something to be read into it. There's a real story there, and it's got real heart. And I'm pretty blown away by this album. I really can't believe it's taken me this long, but I'm glad I've listened to it at this time, because I've been able to genuinely appreciate it for the work of art it is. You know? Yeah. I can't recommend it enough. It's a true classic, Tom.
Well, even though I've never listened to it, I know the artwork and the name of the album anyway.
Yeah. You've got half the
You
battles
see
won.
it everywhere, especially if you go to HMV.
Yeah. And especially if you're friends with people who like the album cover but haven't listened to the album and decide to buy the t-shirt. We're talking to you, normies.
Yeah, get the Hell Hath No Fury t-shirt instead.
Or just listen to the album and don't buy the t-shirt. T-shirts are to be bought. Okay, controversial opinion. You buy band t-shirts at concerts. That's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you doing? Okay, and that's that's it for you.
Okay, that is classic review done. Now we're gonna roll swiftly and seamlessly, just like the mix of both our albums,
Into the singles.
singles.
So the first one, oh yeah,
Yep.
first one is "Lost in the Fire," a joint piece of work by Gesaffelstein and The Weeknd. What are your thoughts, Tom?
Well, I'd like to say that this is actually from. I know it says "and" well, certainly did on Apple Music. It says Gesaffelstein and The Weeknd, but it is a single from Gesaffelstein's new album.
Ah, so it's not a
Uh,
proper collab. Or...
Well, it is a collab, but I don't know why they said that it was a joint venture when it probably wasn't.
Yeah, you'd be expecting The Weeknd to be on every single track.
Well, who knows?
I
Gesaffelstein
mean,
was on two of the Weeknd's
mm,
songs
mm,
on his EP,
yeah.
which made me interested for this because I thought they were, if not the best, one of the best songs on My Dear Melancholy. But this for me was not very good. When I
Oh.
first when I first heard it, I quite liked it. And I still like the production. I don't think Gesaffelstein does anything wrong on here. But I just
No.
think this is quite a average Weekend performance. And lyrically, especially when I sort of listened to what he was saying a bit more, it didn't really make any sense at all because he kept going on about how he can't lose this girl and how he loves her, and then in the verse he just goes on about how apparently she likes girls, so let her sit on your
Well,
face while I
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
you. It was just a bit like you can't have a love song with
Good.
misogyny in it as well. It doesn't really make any sense to me. And there was also a little Drake diss in there. I don't know if you picked that up.
No, I didn't. Got
About
whoosh.
that, I want I want to have a baby with the right one because I could never be the type to
Oh,
hide one.
oh, yeah, no, I heard that. I heard that. Oh no,
Snap.
I don't think I heard the second bit, but I heard the first part. The see, now that you've said that, I totally understand what you're saying. I haven't listened much of him. I really haven't listened to The Weeknd. I've never gone out of my way to listen to him. I mean, so I'm no judge as to the quality of his performance. I thought it was a it was a pretty cool. I mean, what really got me is like Gesaffelstein. I've been listening to his stuff for quite a while. I'm a big fan, and it's sort of sexy, nocturnal, poppy number. I thought the Weeknd's melodies sort of contributed to like the dark aesthetic it was going for, with them being EQ'd such that they're like echoing a bit, and it just feels a bit dark. But like, and I felt that the beat. I mean, the beat is great, and with this sort of mechanical industrial feel, it sort of alluded to those sorts of like darker sexual fetishes, which which are like somewhat alluded to with the explicit lyrics of The Weeknd. I thought that the two complemented each other pretty well. I'm not the biggest fan of like such lyrics as you said. Like I thought, all right, they're getting a bit much, but like not into cringe territory so much. But like I was a pretty I liked it, to be honest. I liked it.
Well, look, as someone that does listen to The Weeknd quite a lot, I think he's certainly done a lot better.
Yeah.
And I thought with the beat being quite low key, he had to sort of steal the show a bit more. And I think apart from the hook, which is incredibly catchy, he
Hmm.
didn't really. He was sort of low key himself, and it all just sort of led into a bit of a forgettable song for me.
Hmm. Okay.
Especially when lyrically it makes no sense.
Yeah, it is weird lyrically. I'll give you that.
Come on, Abel.
But from someone who doesn't who gave a poor performance lyrically, we're gonna go on to an artist who has time and time again proved himself to be the Shakespeare of the 21st century, a true wordsmith.
Are we
And
talking
I'm
about the former Harvard alumni?
yeah, of course I am. By the way, where's Harvard dropout?
Oh, he keeps on going on his story and saying it's coming soon.
Yeah, he's been
So
saying it like last year. Ugh.
it's
We're
got
talking
hope,
about Lillian Pumpernickel,
of course.
otherwise known as Lil Pump.
Hit us with a brand new song. Well, it might have even come out last year. No, it was
It
tail end of
was
the year. I'm pretty sure.
this year, I think. Butterfly Doors.
It had. I like this song. I thought it was a fun
Yeah.
little track. Since his mixtape, he's gone in a sort of more low key direction with
Yeah,
Get It.
here's where I disagree with you on Get It, but I toned down direction, especially with like drug addicts.
And this song was another step in that direction, in my opinion. It had these sour sounding piano keys that I really liked, actually. The scale, and then Lil Pump. I think he has to be shouting and rapping really quickly about your grandma living in a tent and drinking lean to make a good song, because he still carries his charisma and his character.
Yeah, he's won us over.
Despite all that.
I think the only thing that got me was just with it being low-key. I was a fan of drug addicts, and I mean, not that I don't like this song. It's simply not what I expected from the music video and the sort of aesthetic it was going for. I was expecting something more along the lines of Get It, something being more brash, but and it wasn't that. It was more like drug addicts, and it's not that bad. It just wasn't what I was expecting. That's all. But hey, it's not that bad, and
I
still
like this direction for Lil Pump. I think he couldn't have carried on making that music forever. So
you would have just ended up like another dummy boy.
yeah, so you might as well switch up while you're on top. So keep it up, Lil Pump.
Keep
Hit us
evolving.
with that Harvard dropout sooner rather than later, please.
With that Harvard logic. You see, that's a Harvard Business School alumni there.
Mm.
That's how he knows how to do
What
that.
did he study at Harvard? Does anyone know?
I'm pretty sure he did everything.
What a guy.
Yeah. What a unit. And so from Lilus Pumpus, we're gonna go on to Babyface Savage by Bhad Bhabie. Who else? And Tory Lanez. Tom, do tell me your thoughts.
Well, I'm gonna start off with the one slight nitpick that I have about this song before I go into a praise fest. Because when I first heard it, it blew my mind. I was just like, what? Because I'd listened to all the songs that she'd released before after hearing that they actually weren't that bad.
Yeah.
And when she was singing, it was pretty dreadful. I've got to be honest. But she could rap better than a lot of the SoundCloud people today. Like, she could out-rap Lil Xan, no problem.
Shit, but
Tiger, all these people.
So much competition. Let's be honest.
I mean, I think My Sleep Talking could probably out-rap Lil Xan.
Yeah.
I mean, the only nitpick I have is that the beat on this one is terrible. It doesn't fit the rapping or the flow at all. So I don't really know who to blame, but I just found the beat really boring and
I'll agree.
Way too minimalist.
Yeah, definitely. It is minimalist. I wouldn't say too minimalist though. I agree that it's a fast beat, it's a really fast beat, and it'd be difficult to rap over, even if someone who's like not a kid, you know. So I was impressed that Bhad Bhabie they were just skimming over this beat despite it being so fast, like as if it were nothing. I was very impressed.
Yeah, so the beat being this minimalist meant that she had to come with something special, and boy did she! My God, the flow throughout the song is so fast and it's so just in your face. And lyrically, this is probably the best she's been as well. There was lots of funny little one-liners, and it blew my mind. Just the way that she does this fast rapping. Then she slows it down a little bit on the verse and speeds up again. And then Tory Lanez comes in with the exact same flow. And again, quite funny. I thought that Lil Yachty lyric in particular was very good.
Which one was it?
She rapped about having red hair in her verse.
Mm.
And then he's like, we got all the redheads, Lil Yachty here, or something like that, because, he's got his red braids.
The hell? Gucci flip-flops together. You can't stab poor Lil Yachty in the back.
It wasn't a diss, it was just a shout-out.
Alright. I think Lil Yachty should have been on all the songs.
I mean, he had her in his video as well.
Mm. It's a strong single.
Were you surprised at how good she was at rapping?
Yeah. The only other song I'd listened to from her was Gucci Flip-Flops.
Also a banger.
Yeah, I didn't rate it as much as this, though. This is like... It's proven to me that she is more than a meme.
Well, she's got to be getting ready for her debut album.
What the hell?
Because she dropped her mixtape 15. So now it's got to be album time coming around the corner.
Then just album after album after album.
And then see how many classics Danielle Bregoli can come out with.
Danielle Broccoli.
Hey now, no need to get petty.
No. I'm just saying she could do something with that. She could do like she could do vegetable days. Never mind.
I think on that we shall move on.
Yeah, it was good. To song 31 by Noname and Felix.
Yes, this was dropped on New Year's Day, I believe.
Oh, what a way to go into the new year.
Very much in the same stylistic vein that a lot of Room 25 was. Which is funny because Felix was on quite a few of those songs as well. So
You reckon it was
makes
just...
sense to me. I don't really, because a lot of it mentions the success that album had. It's mentioned on this track. And I mean, Room 25 and Telephone both have similar vibes. So I think it's just something she's always done. Yeah.
I've noticed she has this really playful vibe, especially when she raps. Like she has this unique flow. It's pretty fast, and then like some of the lyrics are like they're all like from this uniquely female perspective. You couldn't get it from a guy what she's rapping about. And then some of her lyrics are a bit weird and funny. Like I think early on she has this rap about like having to feed a fetus, something like that. I don't know if she was talking about her kid like now, or like an adult, a grown-up kid referring to it as a fetus in a sort of playful way, or a literal fetus. But anyway, I thought it had this really, really nice sort of jazzy gospel instrumental, and the chorus was this really nice gospel bit. It was pretty. Okay, I swear the drums and guitars here were live.
I wouldn't know about that, but I love the sort of little vocals that kept going on in the track. I thought they were really sweet, and especially after the second verse, because Felix produced the track as well, and I really liked where it broke down a little bit into a bit of a jam.
Yeah,
for a couple of seconds before the song sort of closed out. I thought that was just a really nice, funky rap track.
It sounded to me like just like a Tiny Desk concert, just like her Tiny Desk concert, the one that I like discovered her music from. Yeah, it was really wholesome track.
And I don't know if you noticed, she kept on repeating the phrase "I sell pain for profit."
No, I didn't.
She said it about 4 or 5 times in the song, and I mean, obviously, apart from the obvious thing of saying that she's selling her sort of, not individuality, what's the word I want? Vulnerability in all the songs and being honest. I'm not really sure if it had any deeper meaning than that, but it was repeated quite a lot, so I'm just curious to see if that's a thing she'll go down again. But yeah, Room 25, well worth a listen, and this song 31, I'd say the same for.
Yeah. And we're going to close it with a cheeky little bit of Ibibio Sound Machine. Tell me, Doko Mien.
Doko Mien.
It's... Okay, were you getting some sort of 80s vibes from this as well?
Yeah.
Like synth chords and this driving synth bass. It makes you want to dance. You can't listen to this and not want to move, you know? It's beautiful. And one thing I noticed was sort of midway towards the tail end of the track, they bring these horns back. And like it reminded me of the Talking Fish. Like I think with this album, you reminded me this is like Document is the title of the album. I reckon they're going back to sort of that earlier stuff that they were doing, and I have high hopes. I have very high hopes.
Yeah, this was very is it UI or UA? What was the debut album called?
Sorry?
UYAI. That's how it's spelled. It was very much going back to that because I thought that the EP they dropped last year was a bit more left field, a little more dancey.
Yeah.
It was a different thing. And this sounds a lot more like however it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Which was a very good album. But I love this song, and I thought vocally this was a very standout performance. Because sometimes she can get carried a bit by the instrumentals. Being so groovy and dancey, but I think she definitely stole the show.
Yeah.
Not that the beat was bad, it was very good, and I especially like when the horns came in. Oh god.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. I love it when they bring the horns in. It just reminded me of the Talking Fish a lot. It was very reminiscent of that. And the Talking Fish is my favorite Ibibio Sound Machine song, so it's not a bad thing. Yeah.
Okay, and on that funky note, that is going to just about do it for today's episode.
And what a great bunch of songs to go into 2018 with. And we hope you will give at least one of those classics a listen. I know that I'm going to listen to Tom's. I hope Tom finds the time to listen to mine.
I'm sure I can squeeze in a listen of Dark Side of the Moon.
And we hope you've all had a phenomenal start to your year, and we hope that it keeps up, and
that you're ready for reviews to come.
Whoa, an entire year's worth of reviews, not just 3 months worth.
Yes.
Well, 4 times as many reviews. You know it's happening. 52 reviews, or 51, or 50.
All right, that's enough maths.
Okay, we'll see you all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.